And it's Ken Kreitzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio today at the United States Military Academy in Randall Hall in the Trophy Room, where we're right in front of Army's most prized trophies, their Heisman trophies. But we get a chance to talk with two Army football players. Joe Walker and Xavier Moss are going to graduate today, and we have something special for them. Just, Joe, what's it like for you, your 24 hours till graduation and commissioning?
It's a pretty surreal moment. Xavier and I came into prep school together, so it's been a long 5 years. But it's been an adventure that's kind of changed me and developed me as a man and also as an officer to be.
Absolutely. And Xavier?
It's awesome. It's great to have my family here. Great to finally get to in with all the guys that I started with. So.
Absolutely. Well, we're glad to have a chance to visit with you today, and importantly, we're glad to see many of your family members here today. It's such a big day for families before graduation and commissioning. We get a chance today. I'm with the Sons of the American Legion in White Plains, New York, Post 135, and I grew up in Pelham, New York. And on Memorial Day, we read about 70 names, and we found two of them were college football players. Two names we read on Memorial Day, and we found out they were U.S. Army officers, and when we researched them, they had both been excellent high school athletes, Eli Page Howard and Eugene Evans, and they were World War II era Marines right at the end of World War II, and they both enrolled at Morgan State College, who you guys played this past year a couple of times in your career. And they were the quarterback, Eli Page Howard, and Eugene Evans was the end on that team. And they won the 1949 national championship of black college football in that era. And I always say they could have played in the Rose Bowl. Those guys, in following years, they produced a lot of NFL players out of the program at Morgan. But importantly, they were also commissioned out of the ROTC program at Morgan State in the first class at that school after they started the program. And both commissioned in the early 1950s and went on to serve in Korea. Sadly, Eugene Evans was lost one night leading a scout mission overseas in Korea, and his men. We actually talked to one of his men who told us what a great officer he was, and Eli Page Howard went on to serve in kind of all the places that an Army officer serves in Korea and in Europe and Germany and at the Pentagon, and then in two tours in Vietnam. Sadly, in 1969, he was leading a 1,000-person unit in Vietnam, and his helicopter was shot down in a fierce battle in 1969 Vietnam. And he is interred at Arlington National Cemetery. And we've met his family. And so we created this award to remember them. There were two college football players that excelled, and they also excelled as U.S. Army officers. And sadly, they died in service for our country. But we have a chance to honor, it's our 8th year of the program, working here with the United States Military Academy, also work with the Maritime College down in Throgs Neck, New York, and their players. And so we're very pleased to be able to present to you the Eli Page Howard Eugene Evans Leadership Award. And let me just present, this was for Xavier. And this one is for Joe Walker, and we just wanted to present them to you and congratulate you. We enjoyed covering your games on Sons of the American Legion Radio for you were 4 years as a player, and Joe 3 years, and you really excelled. And of course, you won the last 3 games of your careers, beating Morgan State, and then you beat Navy, and then you beat North Texas to win a bowl game. Let's just start with Joe. Just tell us a little bit. What was this past season like for you? Certainly you overcame a tragedy with the team early in the season, but then the team really rallied at the end of the season. What was it like for you?
This season was an emotional roller coaster for us with the passing of Brandon. But like you said, we did use that as kind of a rallying cry for our team and a motivation to finish the season the way that he would want us to finish, because he was a competitor and he was a winner. So we had to honor him by doing so.
Absolutely. Xavier, you had a big role in the defense. I know you had something, like 120 tackles in your 2 years at safety for Army. What was the year like for you?
It was all right. It had its ups and downs, like Joseph said, but after Brandon passed away, I felt like we all just came together and we knew he would want us to go out there and play our hardest. So I think that kind of motivated us through that second half of the season, and it was up and down, but we got through it.
Absolutely. And maybe just ask Joe, this is a program that built during your 4 years at West Point and really turned the corner this past season, and obviously beating Navy, ending the 14-year streak, it was just extraordinary. What really happened that helped the team turn around and be so successful this year?
I think it was kind of the buy-in and Coach Munkin. When we came in with our freshman year, we had a different coach. Coach Munkin came in, and it kind of took those couple years in our senior class to kind of really buy in and get the entire team to buy in. I think once the entire team bought in to the coaching staff and the mindset of being a winner and going out and competing in everything we do, I think that kind of led us to turn that corner.
Absolutely. And Xavier, you made a big change in your career. You played offense, you were wide receiver, had a big freshman year, and then after your sophomore year, you converted to defense, and you really excelled as a safety for Army. What did it take to make that change and be such an important part of the very strong Army defense this past year?
It took a lot of work. My first season, junior year, was not as easy as you would expect it to be. So working with Coach Bateman, working with Coach Luce, all the defensive coaches kind of getting me back in that rhythm of playing defense and backpedaling instead of running forward every play. So it took a lot throughout the summers and throughout the offseason, but weight room coaches, Coach Bateman, it's the best in the business here, and they definitely helped us to get to the point that we were at by the end of my career here.
Absolutely, and you had a highlight reel game against Navy with interception, forced fumble, just a terrific game. Joe, let me just ask you about what did you study academically and what part of the Army are you going to?
So I was a systems design and management major, and I branched infantry. So I'll be a GA here, working with the football team for 6 months, and then I'll head off to Benning and then hopefully Hawaii.
Very good. And Xavier, what was your course of study here at West Point, and what part of the Army are you going to?
I was a civil engineering major, and then I'm branched engineer, so I'll be going with the Corps of Engineers when I graduate, and hopefully to Fort Carson.
Well, that's terrific. And just to ask you both, tomorrow you're going to go up and receive your diploma, and then you're going to put your right hand up to commission. What will be some of your thoughts tomorrow for graduation? It's been a long time here at West Point. What will be the thought as you walk back with the diploma in hand?
I think it'll really just be one word for me, which is finally. That's really about all I'll be thinking. It's been a long road. It's been a rough road at times, but I think it'll be all worth it in the end. So I think it'll just be finally finished.
Okay, Xavier, what's your thought going to be tomorrow as you graduate from West Point, the United States Military Academy, and commission into the U.S. Army?
Just thinking about all those hard times, in the summers, out in the field, out there in the rain. All those tough times, I think it'll all come together, and I think it'll be a surreal moment. So it'll be fun. Absolutely.
Well, on behalf of everybody at the American Legion, the 4 million families, 2.2 million veterans, we just want to wish you well. Graduation, congratulate you both and all your teammates, everybody in your class of 2017, and just wish you both well from all of us at the American Legion.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
That's great. Great to see these two guys and their families, and we'll look forward to graduation tomorrow. So, from the United States Military Academy and Randall Hall Trophy Room, this is Ken Kreitzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio.